Hey, it's Drybear. And it's finally here, a big patch for us to dig our teeth into some nice welcome changes for Diablo 4. So today we're going to dive into the patch notes and see exactly what changed and what's live in the game right now. All right, let's dive into this. There is a bunch of bug fixes in here, which is super exciting. I'll go through these at the end of the video just so we can get to the meat and potatoes, the things that people want, the entree, which is going to be the big changes in this patch. This one came a lot sooner than we thought. We were all hoping it was going to be today. It didn't seem like it was, and all of a sudden it's here. So we'll skip the fixes for now. There's some good ones in here, but let's look at the gameplay changes, which are going to be the most juicy to look at as well. So first is going to be gameplay adjustments. They talked about this in their campfire chat. Experience rewards significantly increased the XP rewarded for completing nightmare dungeons, significantly increased the experience gained from killing monsters in nightmare dungeons. Helltide chests now provide substantially more bonus XP when opened, and significantly increased rewarded experience from completing individual whispers across the board. So, doing nightmare dungeons, which is pretty much most of what I do, I just do nightmare and Helltide. I don't really run dungeons for XP. I just try to push builds to see how far they go. Is going to give you a lot more XP, which is really, really cool. In general, the Helltide roaming boss, Kixarth, which everyone hates because he takes too long to kill, and he has a bunch of jumping attacks. I always ignore him unless there's a big group of people, and the loot that he drops isn't so great either. But after this patch today, roaming bosses will now drop more consistently higher quality loot. So we'll see how this works. He does drop some Forgotten Souls, which is nice. We'll see if this is actually significantly better. And then we got this change, which I thought was coming much later, but I guess it's in the game now. Players can now teleport to their nightmare dungeon directly through the map. So if you have your nightmare dungeon activated, you can just go onto the map and teleport directly to that dungeon. This might be a first pass on the system, but having this here now is amazing, and I'm so excited for this. Weekly cash bonuses from world bosses no longer have a level requirement for opening, period. So they got rid of that. This is something that people had been complaining about, that there was a level requirement for opening caches. The level requirement's gone. If you get a cache, you can open it, check into cache, there you go. That's how it goes. Balance adjustments, they really, let's go through their thoughts here as we go into this, because there's some big ones in here. We're continuing our efforts to make all class builds feel fun and powerful, of course. In particular, we have seen community feedback stating that basic skills aren't impactful enough in combat. Pretty true. These changes will not change the fundamental relationship between basic skills and core skills, but we hope that they help smooth out the leveling experience, which it will. While we explore additional ways to strengthen them, we're also increasing the power of some skills that players feel are lagging behind their peers. As we look forward to future updates, we're monitoring other heavily discussed topics such as minion survivability and build parity. Super cool stuff. So that's where they're saying their head is at, which is really nice. Let's dive into the actual class changes that we have on screen. Barbarian, the theme for all of these is you're going to see a lot of basic skills getting buffed. They want the basic skills to do more damage, generate more resource, and in general be more useful, which is going to make the leveling experience better. This actually, I already have some ideas on how to improve like the Barbarian and Druid leveling experience based on some changes here, but we'll see how that pans out. Lunging Strike, base damage up 3%, Fury generated up by 1 per hit. Bash, Fury generated up by 1. Enhanced Bash Fortify, doubled in Fortify value. Frenzy, base damage up 2% of base. Flay, bleeding base damage up 4%. Fury generated up 1. Enhanced Flay, vulnerable chance increased from 10 to 15%. So for those frenzy builds, those flay builds, those bleed builds, you can really start relying on those a little bit more, and the vulnerable proc is going to be much nicer. Double Swing, base damage increased from 36 to 40%, so up 4%. Kick cooldown reduced from 17 to 13 seconds. Base damage dealt up from 54 to 70% when enemies are knocked into terrain. Huge buff. And there's a kick reset build that I want to make for Barbarian that I kind of theory crafted in the beta that I want to test in endgame, where you just reset kick and do tons and tons of damage as your Fury spender, and this makes it even more interesting as an option there. Charge, increased base damage dealt to enemies knocked back from 15% to 30%. Leap, slow, increased from 50% to 70% slow. Iron Skin, enhanced Iron Skin's barrier increased from 10% to 20% of max life. This makes it so this is a more of a viable option rather than just running shouts as your only option. Call of the Ancients, Prime Call of the Ancients, bonus attack speed increased from 20% or from 10% to 20%, so up 10%. Iron Maelstrom, I was hoping they would do this. Cooldown reduced from 60 to 45 seconds. Compared to the other ultimates, and even compared to your basic skills, Iron Maelstrom just doesn't feel as strong. But lowering the cooldown to 45 before cooldown reduction makes those arsenal builds a lot more viable and a lot more interesting as well. You also get increased crit chance 20% more and crit damage 20% more from Iron Maelstrom. Super cool. Bounding Slam base damage up to 112 from 75. And legendary aspect changes here for Barbarian. They say they want to do flat damage changes. They scale with item power, so this is going to be across the board. There's a lot of flat value things that just weren't mathed out correctly. They just don't do a lot of damage, and they don't scale well into endgame. So I think across the board, they're just trying to increase these flat values. So Aspect of Bulkathos, damage increased, Earthquake, Dust Devils, Windlasher, Devilish, Iron Warrior, as well as items, Overkill, and Hellhammer, flat damage increased, and the percent damage on Overkill increased as well. Big, 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 big. This makes these items a lot more interesting and gives more build options for Barbarian. So that's very exciting to see. For Druid, we have very similar changes here and some interesting ones as well. Earth Spike, base damage up 1%. Spirit Generated up 1. Fierce Earth Spike Fortify up 4%. So doubled in value on the Fortify for Earth Spike. They want people using Earth abilities, especially for Fortify, rather than something like Wind Shear or Lightning Strike. Wind Shear base damage up 1%, Spirit Generated up 1. Claw, base damage up 2%, Spirit up 1. Wild Claw double attack chance up 5%, which is a 50% increase. And then the Fierce Claw base damage up 5% as well. For Maul, base damage up 2%, Spirit Generated up 1, Enhanced Maul Fortify up 1% as well. Lightning Storm, Enhanced Lightning Storm duration increased from 4 to 6 seconds. This makes it so much more usable. That 4-second window it's livable, and you need good gear for it, and it's fine, but having a little bit extra time to spend in between lightning storms is really, really cool. Primal Lightning Storm chance to immobilize increased from 8% to 12%. That's a 50% increase. Shred, the third attack base damage going up 10%. This helps True Werewolf in a lot of ways. Enhanced Shred healing from 1% to 2% max life. That's a 100% increase, double value in healing. Helps True Werewolf as well. Raging Shred's base damage increased from 51 to 70%. Primal Shred bonus crit damage from 20% to 30%. Almost all of these are buffs. Wolves, cooldown reduced from 14 to 11 seconds. That helps a lot with the leap attack that they have. Ferocious Wolfpack lucky hit chance increased from 10% to 40%. Super, super nice. Hurricane damage goes up from 97.5 to 134%. This is massive for Hurricane builds. Remember, you can stack up more and more damage with Hurricane, which makes this even stronger. Rabies base poisoning damage from 53% to 76%. Cataclysm base damage from 52% to 64%. Lacerate going up 60% in base damage. Petrify going up crit damage bonus from 25 to 30%. That's 5% crit damage. That's actually substantial in a lot of ways. Pummel base damage from 140 to 180. Passive Bestial Rage attack speed bonus increased from 20 to 25%. Damage bonus increased from 20 to 30%. Huge. This one is super nice. Very underutilized. There's almost no one using Bestial Rampage right now. Nature's Fury, chance to cast a free spell increased from 20 to 30%. We like that. Lupine Ferocity, damage bonus increased from 60 to 70. And Legendary Aspects, Runeworker's Conduit, flat damage up 0.4 per scale. Mangled, chance increased from 20 to 30 to 30 to 40. So 10% more chance to mangle. Seismic Shift, cooldown decreased from 2.5 to 2. So 0.5 on all ranks. Blurred Beast, damage increased from 60 to 90%, 70 to 100%. All buffs across the board. We love it. For Necromancer, very similar here. We're going to see some buffs to Reap, damage up, and the cooldown on spawning corpses from 5 to 4 seconds. Very cool. Decompose damage up 3%. Super weak damage. Going up 3% is super nice. More essence generated, and the time gap between getting corpses is down half a second as well. Hemorrhage damage up 25 to 27%. Remember, this ability can hit an AoE as well, which is really nice. And the essence generated is increased to 9, which makes all builds that use this much better. Bone Splinters damage up 9%. Bone Splinters already did a lot of damage with bone builds. It's going to do even more now. Essence generated increased from 6 to 7. Sever initial base damage increased 3% on a core skill is nuts. Enhanced Sever return damage base from 25% to 40%. Sever, Darkness Sever builds are going to be so much better now. Blood Lance, this one's one of my favorite changes. Supernatural Blood Lance overpower requirement reduced from 8 to 6 casts. Now you get a free overpower every 7th cast instead of every 9th. Insane buff to Blood Lance. Crimson Impaler, check it out on my channel. Very cool build, just got significantly better. Bone Prison, cooldown reduced by 2 seconds, and the Fortify increased from 5% to 8%. Super nice. Iron Maiden, which does almost no damage right now, base damaging doubled from 10% to 20%, and the damage bonus increased from 15 to 20% on top of this new base as well, which means that when you have, I think, 3 or more enemies hit with Iron Maiden, you will be able to do a lot more damage with it. Blight Corpse Tendrils chance to spawn a Blood Orb increased from 30% to 35%. This makes all Blood Orb builds better. So my Blood Speaker build, my Demon Bomb build that use this Corpse Tendril for spawning Blood Orbs just got better as well. So those two builds just got stronger. Bone Spikes, base damage increased from 80% to 120%. And now minions will always engage targets with a cast curse. This is not a perfect solution, but it's an improvement, which means that if you curse a target, they will focus that target. I haven't tested this yet. We'll see how good it is, but it is a way to direct your minions in some way. The weird part is that curses are actually pretty large in area, and you'll have to kind of, if you want a specific target, like a enemy with an aura or like a blood blister, you may have to be kind of clever about how you place the curse to get them to target that, but we have something now to direct them, which is really cool. Kalan's Edict, you lose if you take damage. If you haven't taken damage in the last 3 seconds, you get attack speed for your minions. This has been buffed to be 2 seconds now instead of 3. Nice change. I wish they reworked it, but it is something that we'll take. Wrath's Vigor, healthy duration reduced from 15 to 12 seconds. So you get overpower 3 seconds faster from Wrath's Vigor. On top of that, Crimson Impaler is looking insanely strong right now. Spiked Armor, Thorns increased base scaling. This makes Spiked Ribcage better as well. Legendary Aspects, Bursting Bone, flat damage increased massively, basically doubled in all cases. Flesh Rending, Essence gained increased from 10 to 20 to 20 to 40. And then Fast Blood, this is when you collect orbs, it reduces your ultimate cooldown. This has gone up 0.5 seconds per blood orb when you're at full HP. Insanely good. This helps a lot with some really big reset builds there as well. For Rogue, we have some changes on here as well. We have the Invigorating Strike, base damage going up 23 to 25%. We like that. Base damage on Blade Shift up 1%. Heartseeker damage up 2%. And primary Heartseeker damage increased from 30% to 75%. This makes Heartseeker a lot more interesting. And you'll probably will see this in a lot more bow builds as well. I'm excited to see this one specifically. This is going to be pretty fun to play with. Forceful Arrow, base damage increased from 20 to 22%. Barrage damage up 2%. Caltrops Chill increased up 5%. Smoke Grenade cooldown reduced by 2 seconds. Rain of Arrows cooldown reduced by 5 seconds. Prime Rain of Arrows imbuement potency increased from 20 to 30%. Volley base damage increased by 35%. Huge. That feels really good. CQC, Close Quarters Combat, one of your key passives. Damage bonus increased from 20 to 30%. Nice. Legendary Aspects, Escape Artist cooldown decreased from 100 to 45 seconds. Insane. Lucky hit chance to gain a Dark Shroud increased by 10% on all levels. And then items, Eyes in the Dark, increased Death Trap cooldown reduced from 30 to 15 to 20 to 15%. This should make some off-meta builds a lot better. Forceful Arrow and Heartseeker getting better is really nice. Barrage was already showing promise and should show even more promise. And then Invigorating Strike and Blade Shift being a little bit more useful as well. I love the cooldown on Smoke Grenade, and I love the chill change for Caltrops and Rain of Arrows, and then base damage for Volley needed to come up as well. So all of that is good stuff. Going into Sorcerer here, Spark base damage up 2%. It needed to. People were skipping this and using Arc Lash exclusively. But the Spark damage for how random it is needed to be a lot more oomphy. Enhanced Spark damage up 1.4%, and Flickering Spark up 1% in damage as well. The Flickering Spark chance is up 1% chance as well. Frostbolt base damage up 3%. Firebolt damage up 4%. And this is with scaling, by the way. This is before scaling. Charged Bolt up 2%. Incinerate up 5%. This is a core skill. Any core skill that has any scaling on it, with how much core skills scale in the game right now, bonkers, absolutely insane. So Incinerate really needed to come up, and it came up a lot. Enhanced Incinerate damage increased by 10%. Greater Incinerate immobilize requirement down to 3 seconds. Fireball mana cost down. It was very mana consumption heavy to use Fireball. This is a very poignant and smart change for Fireball. Frozen Orb, base damage increased to 36%, explosion damage up 5%, greater Frozen Orb chance to apply vulnerable increased by 5%, makes Frozen Orb builds a lot more viable. Blizzard base damage increased 120 to 130%. Surprised to see they haven't made any adjustments for aspect of control for this, but this is good. Blizzard damage is nice. You can even get free Blizzard procs with some of your abilities and aspects. Ice Blade's chance to apply vulnerable increased 10%, so you can use the summon a lot better. Lightning Spear damage bonus increased from 100% to 160. Nice 60% damage increase for Lightning Spear there. Then we have Crackling Energy, base damage up 5%. Hopefully this Crackling Energy build gets a little bit better and isn't just kind of a supplement for other builds, like the Lightning Orb. Freezing Wake, base damage increased by 50%. Legendary aspects, we have Abundant Energy, chance to chain an additional enemy increased by 10% at all ranks. Singed Extremities, slow amount up 25%, crazy amount of slow increase. Incendiary, chance to restore mana increased by 7% across the board. Amazing change here. Snowguard, damage reduction up 10%. This should help Sorc survive a lot more if they want to run Snowguard, and I like Snowguard a lot, so that's pretty cool. Concentration, mana reduction increased by 10% across the board. And then Flame Scar, flat damage up. Staff of Lam Ascend, damage reduction reduced from 40% to 35%, so 5% at all ranks across the board. So those are the changes there, almost entirely buffs. And I think that's a really good point for them. I know people were really kind of dogged about all of the nerfs that had been coming in. So I think this is a really good patch that helps buff up some weak things, make the leveling experience better before the season starts, and gives us some really nice things. Let's speed run through these fixes so we kind of are aware of what's in here. Fixed an issue where players couldn't engage with Dead Man's Dredge. Whispers couldn't be completed. Those who called the Storm event wouldn't register. Those who called the Storm event would place a permanent debuff. Enemies could spawn behind the sealed door in the Cultist Refuge. They sure could. Fixed an issue where characters could be damaged and killed during the Stronghold completion cutscene. I hadn't seen this, but that's hilarious. Fixed an issue where the level 100 Pinnacle boss would appear again with no health bar if killed during a specific phase. They didn't even fix the way you could cause this to happen with insane damage. They just fixed the visual issue. Insane. Fixed an issue where progression could be blocked in the Fallen Temple Capstone Dungeon. Fixed an issue the result. This was if you kill the whatever the pillar is too fast, it breaks. So I guess they fixed that so that you can one-shot it if you want and everything's fine. Fixed an issue that result in a crash or freeze if players enter Untamed Thicket Dungeon. Gameplay fixes. Fixed an issue where Insatiable Fury and Mad Wolf's Glee prevented druids from transforming. Fixed an issue where Spider Host enemies would hang around after dying. Fixed an issue where equipment with socketed gems couldn't be mass salvaged. Fixed an issue where players were unable to teleport to Karagar while in Karagar. Fixed an issue where corpse angels would cause the corpse to disappear. It happened all the time. Fixed an issue where the camera would not zoom out when joining a world boss encounter. Fixed an issue where barbarian players would get stuck between bone walls. Fixed an issue where rogues would remain invisible to other players in PvP. Fixed an issue where Iridia's tornadoes would cause players to be stuck in a knockback state. Fixed an issue where pressing any button on control while dazed would halt all player input. That's an important one. Fixed an issue where caches with world tier conditions can be brought into higher world tiers and provide rewards for that world tier. Oh, well, there you go. Fixed an issue where the Skeleton Warrior upgrade for increasing Thorns damage was not properly applying. Fixed an issue where the Burning Instinct power for Sorcerer Paragon board did not account for base critical damage. Fixed an issue where the player could move in-game during the leave game countdown. Fixed an issue where a second player that closes the region progress menu in local co-op was locked. Fixed an issue where it wouldn't progress for all players in local co-op. Fixed an issue where the preview slot for the item upgrades would only display for one player. Fixed an issue where the store would become uninteractable for player 2. Fixed an issue where targeting the same enemy would show different health bars. Fixed an issue where Spirit Boons menu couldn't be closed by player 2 if player 1 had it open. Fixed an issue where the remaining player would not be able to move on their mount if the other player exited the game. Quest fixed an issue with Lackfin NPC during multiple quest missions. Fixed an issue with progression on Malign Devotion. Fixed an issue where players would have their progression in the Apex of Misery blocked. Fixed an issue where the player character would be blocked if they sat on a chair to talk to an NPC during the Demon Ledger quest. Fixed an issue where Brawl and Mother's Chosen would move oddly during the eavesdropping cutscene. Players now re-enter the boss area after the follower has joined them in the Storming the Gates quest. Fixed an issue where the Illusion Wood statue would become uninteractable. Fixed an issue where True Potential Rogue class quests sometimes couldn't be completed. UI fixed an issue where chat would be expanded even when the chat was not visible. That was really annoying. Glad it's gone. Fixed an issue where a player's HP bar would appear to be 0 if they left the vicinity of the party while not at full HP. Fixed an issue where GPU not supported message would be broken text. Fixed an issue where the particles for Druid Spirit Boons would persist after closing the associated menu. Fixed an issue with Xbox consoles with cross-network play notifications. Fixed an issue with empty notifications. Fixed an issue with potion upgrade icon would be missing when playing with a controller. Fixed an issue where the town portal progress bar would be visible while in menus. Fixed an issue on PC where the tab key would not open the map. Fixed an issue where the spur ability for mounts would display as not yet learned. Fixed an issue where the linked item menu would persist on screen. Fixed an issue where players could receive improper messaging when undoing the deletion of a hardcore character. Fixed an issue where the interact wheel prompt would appear over vases. That was annoying. Fixed an issue where the socket button would persist. The player swap tabs. Fixed multiple instances where pins on the map from either a quest or the player would not function properly. Fixed an issue, multiple issues where across the menus, multiple issues where health bars would not display accurately during PvP. Various improvements to the UI, various localization fixes. Fixed an issue where the Purveyor of Curiosities menu would erroneously display an item quality on some items. Fixed an issue where users couldn't create a clan. Fixed an issue where the shop would not properly load. Fixed an issue where multiple cutscenes would not play if the player engaged with them while in a party of 3 or more. Fixed an issue where the randomized look and swap body actions in the shop didn't function. Fixed an issue where the PlayStation 5 screen reader wouldn't function properly. Fixed an issue where emotes in the shop would not always function when using with a controller. Fixed an issue where the player's character eye would display improperly during the Lorath's cabin cutscene. Various stability, performance, and visual improvements. Fixed an issue where players using laptops with certain dedicated graphics cards would not be able to play the game. I had heard this a lot in chat, so nice to have that there. So that is the patch for today. That's not even all the season content that we have for another patch. And this is almost entirely buffs and fixes. I think this is exactly what the community needed, but you let me know what you think down below in the comments, as well as come hang out on my live stream. We can chat about this together. If you enjoyed yourself today, leave a like down below. You can support me and my work on Patreon and view Patreon exclusive content, link in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.